Well, I know it said that you wouldn't see an OHRAM show again till the 7th of September, but it just so happened that we had an opportunity to get in touch with Thursday Gervais while she is in Moscow getting ready for the Trans-Siberian Extreme, the Red Bull Trans-Siberian Extreme. So I called up the OHRAM show, who was on vacation, and it reluctantly agreed to do another show. So we got a hold of Thursday this morning. She had with her Paul Bruck, who is the owner of the Red Bull Trans-Siberian Extreme. So now we have show 162, this show about cycling and ultracycling. And without saying anything more, we're going to head right off to Moscow and talk with Thursday and Paul. So Thursday, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well.
We kind of put this together in a quick hurry here, and Thursday was willing to come on, and we also, well, you introduce your friend beside you there, Thursday.
You want me to introduce? This is Paul Bruck.
And Paul, your role here in the Trans-Siberian race is what?
I'm the organizer of the Red Bull Trans-Siberian Extreme. Yeah, that's correct. We do it the third time.
I was going to ask you that question. This is the third time of doing it. And how many people do you have in the race this time?
We have this year, first time only solo. We had the first 2 years also duo teams. And we have 8 men and 2 great women from the US.
I just saw that when I got my app here that you did have a couple of women involved, and we'll talk all about that. But so Thursday, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to start now. I'm excited.
No, they should start slowly. There is the king stage of 1,400 kilometers. So let's say about 900 miles.
Yeah, just around 900.
Which is stage 12. So they should not hurry at the beginning.
Well, I had Thursday on the show last April, I believe it was Thursday. And we explained a little bit about how the race works. For those of you involved in ultracycling, this is a little different. It's kind of a hybrid, you might say, between stage racing and ultracycling. And I'm not going to get into a large explanation about that here, but you can see that on her show, and I'll have a link to that on the show notes right below the video here if you're watching on the OHRAMshow.com. You have 2 women this time. I knew that Thursday was enrolled. I didn't know you had another woman. So what's the distance of the race, Paul?
The distance is 9,200 kilometers, divided into 14 stages. So it's 14 stages in 23 days, exactly the same as Tour de France, but 3 times longer. Okay? Well, we actually go along the so-called Trans-Siberian Magistrale, which is the Trans-Siberian road highway, and which is all the time along the Trans-Siberian Railway. So we are going to see the train pretty often. Well, there are no high hills on the whole route, but there are several areas where you have pretty hilly, and it's a permanent up and down. It's pretty challenging for the bikers.
Now, Gervais, we talked before, and actually Red Bull, or Paul here, provides you a lot of support, don't they?
And we stay in beautiful hotels. We have 8 times from 15. We are staying in Hilton Hotel, which is a pretty big surprise for most people outside Russia, that we are going to places nobody knows and there is a Hilton.
Well, you'll actually get some showers along the way then, will you, Thursday?
Yes, and a bed. And a massage.
Well, that's a luxury a lot of ultracyclists would be happy to have.
Yeah.
Yes, well, as I said, we kind of explained how this works on the time that I had Thursday on the show in April, and there'll be a link to that show so they can people can get an idea of just how it works. And also, Thursday, you had a little excitement, didn't you, getting there? Something about your tools being missing, or TSA confiscated them?
Well, it's always an issue when you go through the airport and flying with your bikes. I mean, whether you're doing it, you know, for a criterium or for an Ironman or any race, you get a little paranoid, and they do go through your boxes. And it was my fault because I took my nutrition and had divided it up, and it wasn't in the original packaging, and it was in my bike box because that nutrition gets heavy. And I didn't notice till I got here and started unpacking my bike because it was almost hidden in the bottom that it was missing. So that they took it, and I think they took that probably in the United States because I flew out of JFK, and they're pretty high security there. And also, I didn't read that you can't have tools flying out of JFK that are more than 7 inches long. So some of my tools are more than 7 inches long, and I'm sure when they saw those, they took them too, just thinking, you know, what is this stuff in this box? So, but she's taking care of it. We're going to be able to replace that here. They've got a lot of places here in Moscow that I can get it from. So.
Now we have actually a chief mechanic who was taking care of a couple of years for the Katyusha team. Katyusha is also in the Tour de France. You know them?
Yes.
So we have a pretty high level support team also from the mechanical side.
Well, good. I'm glad you got some tools there. That would be kind of annoying.
Yeah, they have plenty of tools. These were just going to be for my own personal use in the van, you know, if for whatever reason, you know, that I needed them, just as a spare. So.
Do you actually have a women's category and a women's winner, or are they competing along with the men?
Well, this was a long discussion, but because we don't have 3 women, which my sports manager says is the minimum for a category, there will be a winner woman, but it's not there is no pricing in terms of winning. But is anyway, you don't do that for a price, this race.
Well, it's always nice to have more women, and I think let me just throw my 2 cents in here. The OHRAM show has been a great advocate of women in ultracycling, and I think we need to do everything we can to get more in, and we would certainly hope to see more in your race as in all the races, because Paul, women put on the best show. I've watched ultracycling for many years, and they always give you the best show.
You know that we have some run guys with us this year?
No, I wasn't aware of that. I haven't really looked over the roster too well, and we'll talk about that in a moment here. Now, Paul, I have found an app for the race for both the iOS platform, which is your iPhone and iPad, and there is one for Android, but the one for the Android I found just a little hard in a search to find, and I'll try to put some information below the video here as to what the name of it is. The name's just a little different, and on immediate search, it didn't show up. There is an app for you, and we can follow the race on our devices. Well, Thursday, I want to thank you for taking time to come here and be with us, and just to say our good wishes to you, to the other woman there in the race. We hope that both of you succeed. You saw this, as I remember, as sort of a tune-up or a practice for RAM.
Yeah, I did say that. Here I am.
Well, it's a heck of a practice.
Thank you. Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Can I say thank you to everybody that supported me along this whole year of getting sponsors and following my journey and my training all the way up to this. And if everyone would please send me little messages on my social media and words of encouragement to keep me going and really watch the race, I would really appreciate it, because that's the #1 thing that's going to help me get through is all my friends' support.
Okay, and I'll have links in the show notes here where people can do that.
Pierre Bischoff.
Pierre Bischoff.
Oh, yes.
He's racing with us, and he's presently the world champion in ultracycling after he won the Glockerman in Austria, and he won RAM last year. And We have
Okay,
two
yes.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have two more guys who finished RAM. This is Peter Sandholt and Aske Sobe from Denmark.
Quite an impressive list of men.
Yeah, this year will be tough.
Very good, and thank you once again.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Lee.
and thanks for the talks. All the best.
Well, thank you very much, Thursday and Paul, for taking time out to visit with us. We appreciate that. We know that you've got to be extremely busy at the moment, and we're very glad that you came by to see us. We want to thank all of you for watching. We thank you always for your support, and we'll be following Thursday on our apps, on our Android devices, on our iPhones, our iPads, and on the computer. So we want to root Thursday on along with all the other racers. With that, we'll say goodbye.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.